Hello, Ezra, and welcome everybody to another Just Enough Heshy show. We're back with an exciting week, and today I had an exciting day. Ezra, I want to tell you about my day, and it was interesting, okay?
You're in Monroe Place, huh?
I was in my, yeah, how do you know? I was in my role play.
I figured as much.
You know, when the lawyer told me to come to Monroe Place, he says the appeals court. I said, okay, no problem. And then I took Linda with me. Linda spent the whole day with me, made me miserable.
It's a beautiful building.
A beautiful building. Oh, gorgeous. And the court officers were so nice to me. I was the only court case today. And I remember when my mother was fighting, we were younger, they sued my mother. They took away a lot of stuff from her. My mother kept suing in court. We kept going to the appeals court. And I remember taking her to that building all the time and parking there and staying there. And then I remember when we saw the court officers, they were all nice to Linda because her father was a court officer. Interesting. I sat there with 4 judges asking questions, answering the questions. So you know Simcha Felder knocked me off the ballot 4 times. By the way, I didn't say you're handsome.
Well, thank you.
And how are you guys? Really?
Am I handsome?
You are handsome.
Okay, thank you.
So I was knocked off the ballot 4 times. I got on the ballot 4 times. He's knocked me off. Now I found a way again to get on the ballot. He's gone to the appellate court with me to knock me off again, and we're just trying to fight the law. And he's questioning. He says, well, next day next day delivery, even though it doesn't mean next day, it means 2 days from now. I said, you know, if you don't know how to serve it, and they even told you can serve it by hand. Oh, Heshy, he tells me, I respect your Shabbos. You didn't respect Shabbos serving me the first time. You didn't respect Shabbos the second time. Now, all of a sudden, you respect Shabbos. I mean, it doesn't work like that. I mean, the judges could do whatever they want, but I don't think it's fair. Don't they have to go by the letter of the law and the code of the law, especially if the guy wrote the order to show cause himself?
Yes and no.
What's no?
Well, technically, they're court of equity, so sometimes they'll let it go beyond the law, but usually it has to be fair. Our computer's having some fun today.
Right, you can shut it off. So you're telling what do you mean by fair? I mean, if it's by the letter of the appeals court.
Usually I will follow the law. They will usually follow the law.
So then why were they questioning the law then? Why were they questioning the whole idea when we were sitting up there? We told them, here's the law, these are the case laws, and this is what he did. And they asked him, well, do you believe that you did the right thing? He says, yeah, I did the right thing. They said, well, they should have told him you didn't do the right thing.
Well, we'll see what the decision is. I mean, with oral arguments, you have 4 judges. Sometimes you really have no idea what they're thinking.
They were against us in the beginning, and then they seemed to. One judge looked at us, looked pretty good, but we don't need a tie. 2 judges to 2 judges don't work. It has to be 3-1 or a tie. I hear we lose, right?
Did you win the lower court?
The lower court, we lost.
So you need 3 judges.
You need 3 judges over here. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's very weird. The appellate division, 2nd department uses an even number of judges. It makes it so confusing.
And it's crazy because she wouldn't let us rebut when we're entitled to rebuttal. She said, "Oh, I don't need no rebuttal."
No, with oral arguments, even if you have time and even if you ask for it, it's basically if the judges want to hear from you.
Right. Well, they gave us 10 minutes and 5 minutes. I don't think it was fair.
That's more than enough time.
More than enough time. Well,
that's really more than enough time.
Well, we're going to start the show. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things. We're going to talk about your queen. You guys can call into the show today at 646-974-1581. Ask me any question. We could talk about anything. 646-974-1581. What's that number, Ezra?
646-974-1581.
That's right. We're going to talk about stuff, and we're going to talk about everything. But right now, we're going to talk about Plaza Auto Leasing.
Hey.
Plaza Auto Leasing. They are just an interesting leasing company. They're located at 2593, I think it is. Where is it?
You better get the number right.
2753 Nostrand Avenue. Plaza Auto Leasing, 718-975-9000. They do leasing, they do sales, but they bring the car right to your door. They have all late models. They're just wonderful agency. They've taken good care of me, and I want you to call up Plaza Auto Leasing at 2753 Nostrand Avenue. You can walk in there. You can just do it online at www.plazaautoleasing.com. That's PLAZAAUTOLEASING.com. And their phone number again is 718-975-9000. Ezra, what's their number? I just said it.
I do.
You don't pay attention to me. You started to act like the other one that we got rid of. 718-975-9000. Be a pal today and tell them Uncle Heshy sent you. They are a very good agency, and I know personally because I took their car, and it's just a wonderful car. Anyways, Ezra, I want to start the show with a quick quote.
Okay.
And this is a quote about me because
I'm surprised.
I'm surprised. Because, all the trials and tribulations through my life, and of course, I'm having a grandson that's going to be born in a couple of days, which all of you out in the world of, all you out there in radio world and fan world and all the tens of thousands of views, and I've been getting a lot of hits. I walked this week, I met Lee Zeldin. He came into Borough Park. I walked with him. Somebody was supposed to videotape me, a guy from one of the organizations, and he purposely deleted the video. Then some of Lee Zeldin's people pushed me aside. But Lee was nice to me, shook my hand. I walked with him. I made a video with him. And
I saw your video.
And it went viral. I had like about 100,000 hits between YouTube and Twitter and TikTok and Instagram. People liked it.
So let's just hope there's no anti-Heshy vote for Lee's sake, right?
All I know is Lee Zeldin was a very nice gentleman. I think he's best qualified.
I agree with you.
Like he said, Hochul's policies, you're not going to know till she's elected. Why isn't she taking policies? Why isn't she debating him even?
Well, we know what Hochul's policies are. Hochul's policies is Cuomo 2.0, which is not, Cuomo 1.0 wasn't that good either.
Right.
But the reason she's not debating him is because it can only hurt her.
It can only hurt her.
She's an incumbent. She's
not an incumbent. She's incompetent.
Well,
Did you ever hear her talk? She's stupid.
Don't forget, she's an incumbent who never actually ran and got elected. So, but technically, she has the seat already. So, I'm hoping that the voters do it.
But they say the race is pretty close. He's down by 4 points. He's down by 2 points.
I mean, based on the numbers I've been hearing, he needs to win anywhere between 29 to 35% of New York City in order to guarantee a win.
Wow, but he has most of the upstate. Anyway,
I say, if it was 29 to 35% of New York City, he's in good shape.
Well, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. We're gonna talk about your teachers and other stuff. But in the meantime, this is my quote of the day. I've always seen life as a series of doors. Sometimes you choose the door you go through, and sometimes you don't get that choice. But you still have to walk through it. So either you walk through it kicking and screaming, or you walk through it with your held head high. So let me tell you something, guys. I've walked through many doors. I've had trials and tribulations. I've had issues with the government, with the courts. I've had issues with clients, people dying, hospitals, my community, COVID, and all of this stuff. And I've always walked through that door. I've always held my head high, and I've always come out not kicking and screaming, because I know that no matter what my job is to solve the problem and to try to go on with life, because tomorrow's going to be another day. Tomorrow's going to be a great day, and I'm going to have a good laugh. Like today, I woke up Linda. I said, we're going to court. You're going to hang out with me for the day. And Linda says, no, actually, I don't want to hang out with you. You drive all over. You make me crazy. I said, no, Linda, you make me crazy, but I'm still taking you with me. Anyways, it was good.
You made her crazy.
I made her crazy, but I think she made me crazy because she kept saying, I want lunch, I want lunch, I want this. I bought her sushi. I don't like sushi. I want corned beef. I said, got to corned beef. I don't want corned beef. Can't make that girl happy.
Took you that long to realize?
I know, 32 years. Anyways, here's my joke for the day, everybody. It's a very good joke. This is the joke. So Linda it comes into the living room. She says, darling, I had such a hard day. Would you tell me the 3 magical words, the words that always make you so happy? So I said, you are right. Linda says, funny. No, what are the other words? So I said, I'm wrong. I am wrong. No, she wanted to hear I love you. I know that. But I thought this was much more funny.
Just it's honesty. But
yeah. Anyways, I want to tell you this joke. I don't know if I told it before, but I just loved it. I just saw it again in my notes, and it was just such a great joke. We went to a nursing home. Somebody tells a joke, and he's sitting with 3 old guys. And the 3 old guys were complaining about going to the bathroom. And the first guy says, I wish I can go make number 1. It's so impossible. It's just so hard. I have to push and scream and holler. I just wish I could do number 1 so well. The second guy says, oh, I wish I could make number 2. It's so hard. It comes out, beep, beep. I suffer, I struggle, I push, I scream, I holler. Wow, it's just impossible. The third guy says, oh, when I go number 1, it rains like in the forest. It comes rolling out with ease and smoothness. Everybody, the 2 friends are looking at him. And he says, number 2, oh, it comes out like Mount St. Helens exploding. Beautiful. The other 2 guys said, what are you complaining about? He says, well, I go to the bathroom at 7:30, but I get out of bed at 9. That wasn't funny?
No,
I thought that was a funny
no,
joke.
It was so it was so predictable.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I like that.
Sorry,
joke.
my friend.
Okay.
Bathroom you was staged.
I thought it was. First of all, I want to give a shout out. I have a group, a Twitter group that I'm part of. Very cool guys. It's called the Storm Twitter group. And we have a guy there called Sean King Rising. So I'm giving you a shout out to the Storm Twitter group and Sean King Rising.
Okay.
That's it. And of course, my beautiful granddaughter Mira Nava and Layla Tamar. And of course, my favorite police officer, which I have so many, Sergeant Peter.
There you go.
So let's talk a little bit about the governor's election. Okay. Lee Zeldin, like you said, that she doesn't have to debate him. I mean, don't we see if she doesn't debate him that we see that she's just scared of him, that he should be the guy? I mean, even the Democrats are going to say, well, why are you scared of him if he's so good?
You'd think, right? The problem is this. We live in such...
By the way, everybody, 646-974-1581. Call into the show. You can ask Ezra any legal question.
Right. Logically, yes. If you're ducking debates, it should give you a point for concern. But the thing is, we live in a state where it's I think it's 3-1. Democrats, registered Democrats to Republicans. It's almost between 2-1, 3-1.
Right, but
so and people have, they listen to ads. They really don't want to listen. I mean, truth is, even if you had debates, how many people are going to pay attention to it?
I don't know. Trump debates had a lot of people.
Trump debates was because it was a circus.
It was a circus.
It was a circus, right? But
that was great. Hillary and Trump, you can't get better than that.
Exactly. But
Biden was nothing. Biden was just an idiot. And they're saying now that Biden might not run again.
That's a separate story.
He actually said,
he's not sure.
He's not sure, but he has 54 days to think about it. I don't understand. How does the president say, I'm not going to run again, or I'm thinking about running again?
First of all, the election's not, the presidential election doesn't...
For 2 more years.
It's 2 more years. And he can't announce before November, else there's some federal... there's election laws and funding laws and all the, that kind of thing. If they start too early, you have PACs already, and there's going to be fines and stuff. So you have to be very...
Really? You can't just announce 5 years in advance?
That's why Donald Trump hasn't announced yet. It's all about money. It's about campaign finance laws. So that's why neither of them are really saying anything. Also, if Biden says he's running, it's going to thin out the rest of the herd of the Democrats, who was a very thin herd to begin with. And it's going to kill them in the midterm elections in Senate.
But if Biden doesn't run, let me just give you a scenario. It's going to be, of course, the Vice President, Kamala Harris.
She's not going to get the nomination.
But she's going to run.
She's going to run. She'll throw her hat in the ring.
Buttigieg, who's in the same administration, he's running for sure. So they're both going to run against each other, work against each other?
Yes, they both haven't done anything for the last 2 years anyway. So, I mean, she's the Vice President of I don't know what, and the border czar of... I don't know where our border is anymore. It looks like it's in Cape Cod, or Martha's Vineyard these days.
No, they're suing. Now I hear they're suing Santos.
Yeah, they're DeSantis.
How could they sue Santos?
DeSantis?
Why isn't Santos suing the president for shipping people to Florida?
So that's the whole thing. I mean, this whole thing's a joke. It's a sideshow.
Yeah.
But I mean, to go back, I don't know if you want to deal with the Zeldin thing or the
Zeldin
thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, just briefly on the DeSantis matter. You have a bunch of migrants now who are complaining that they actually got shipped from Florida, where they would get nothing from the state, to Martha's Vineyard, which is very quiet these days. Summer's over; nobody's there. They have a lot of land. I don't know what they're complaining about, to be honest with you. I think DeSantis and Abbott are doing the right thing. They're doing the politically effective thing. I hate to see. Look, you do feel sorry for people being used as political pawns, and to a large extent, they are being used as political pawns, but. They didn't come here.
We're treating them so terrible. Look at the 50.
Treat them terrible.
And look at the 50 people that died in a trailer.
Right, that's worse.
We're not right. It's worse. So again, you have no control. You're letting them come over the border.
So I mean, the truth is, right now, every American should be suing the Biden administration.
Exactly.
And that's real. But you have to get their attention somewhere or another.
Yeah.
Now, as far as Lee Zeldin and this whole Hochul thing, Kathy Hochul was never supposed to be the governor of the state of New York. Right. Andrew Cuomo was supposed to be governor until probably in the next election cycle, where he would have been the front runner. Right. But he caused his own downfall. Right. Thankfully.
he's going to try to come back again.
He
He's
has no
pitching.
chance.
Yo, he's
Yeah, but
pitching
I know
every day. It's not my fault.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody
And
likes
that's my
that.
question to you.
Nobody likes
Look
that.
at the attorney general. This guy is guilty. This guy took money, and she's busy going after Trump.
Yeah.
She's busy now suing Trump civilly for
Yes.
commit. So here's my question to you. If a guy says, I am worth $10 million because he wants to look good to the other people and get credit and so on.
So this is
That's not fraud.
Well, look, here's the thing when it comes to real estate. You pump up your value of any building, right?
Right.
I want to get a mortgage. I'm going to say I'm going to give you a valuation of my property that's probably higher than the market value. But every bank uses a third party appraiser.
Right.
Right. I with my home, I had to finance my home.
Me too.
I gave an estimate of what I thought the house was worth. I'm sure the bank had their own estimate. You get a third party appraiser, and that's the number everybody uses.
Right.
So
Trump has been doing this so long.
So you can do whatever you want.
But she's going after him from 2011 to 2021.
Letitia.
And now she wants criminal charges against him. She's not busy with real stuff in the state. This is what she's busy with.
Right, that's the thing. The truth is right now, the Southern District of New York, the feds have been investigating this for a few years, and they've decided there are no criminal charges to be brought. So now she's stuck. She can only do it civilly because she doesn't have authority.
Well, she's sending it over to somebody for criminal charges.
She could refer it to Alvin Bragg's office if it happened in Manhattan, or she could refer it to the Southern District of New York.
So let's go to another subject on Trump. What about the subject where Trump ordered for what's called a judge? What was it called? A referee to look over the documents to see if they were secret or not.
So
now this referee says, "Tell me that you declassified it." I mean, how can Trump remember everything?
No. So there's two issues here. Okay, one issue is a lot of the materials that were a lot of paperwork was taken from Donald Trump.
Right.
If it was declassified before he took him out of the White House, or was taken out of the White House, then there's no crime that was committed.
But you have to prove they were declassified. How can you prove it?
The burden, because there's he has to show the order where, as president of the United States.
Oh, he has to sign the order declassifying?
Whatever it was, whatever the directive was, if it's oral or whatever, he has to bring proof is, and that those documents were.
Do we really believe that Trump took these documents to show to the Russians and
No,
spy?
we don't. But that doesn't matter at this point.
Is it really criminal? He didn't have intent to. Don't you have to have some kind of an intent even?
Yes and no. I mean, look, Barack Obama has a bunch of stuff that belong in the White House. Bill Clinton stole a lot of furniture from the White House.
And Hillary had emails.
And Hillary bleached minutes.
Will Donald Trump get charged?
He's going to get charged. He's going to get indicted. Yes. Why? For one reason, because the case is going to be brought in district court, in federal district court of the DC.
Can he run for president while indicted?
He could.
So if he wins,
even if he's convicted, he could run for president.
Right. That I know. Now but then he has to serve a jail term.
No, only if he's sentenced to jail.
What?
Only if he's sentenced.
Right, but then he can if he wins president, he just pardons himself.
That would be the question. If he gets convicted after he's president, could he pardon himself? That was a question that was running during his first administration. It's not that clear that a president could pardon himself. It's not clear that he can't. So it really is a toss-up question. Look, the bottom line is this: this whole thing, whether it's the Department of Justice on the Attorney General's office right now, whether it's the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James, the whole thing is they want to just keep Trump's name in the forefront, because if you look at
they're wasting millions of dollars.
If you look at the alternative, our country's going. They just raised the interest rates another 3/4%. Our inflation rates are going out the sky roof. The quality of life in cities, major cities, or the border stink, right?
Oh, so that's a good thing you brought. Can I mention something? You brought that up very good. Listen to this. This is interesting. More than a dozen people were shot, several fatally, in nearly a dozen incidents across New York City just this weekend.
And if you go to Chicago, that's a nightly event.
I don't even want to go. I want to go right here where I live. I want to give you some numbers. For the month of July, I'm not talking August, September. Right. There were overall shooting incidents increased in New York City by 13% just this month. 178 shootings versus 157 a year ago. 34% increase in murders, 47 to 35. Burglaries up 27%.
And just we have to
2,752 gun arrests. 18% felony crimes. I mean, this just doesn't end. I mean,
and you have to remember one thing. This is compared to last year's numbers, which were, if you compare it to last year's numbers compared to the prior year before that, was over 100% also.
Right.
So the bottom line is, we've had a combination of the de Blasio administration
and the bumbling Adams.
And Adams administration. None of them have been able to take back the streets for us. None of them protecting us. They could make all they want to do is if it's de Blasio, he wants to smoke his weed, and if it's Adams, he wants to go to nightclubs. So I mean,
no, Adams is smoking weed too. By the way,
I'm sure he is, but the thing is,
and here's my thing too. So now we spoke on a big level of de Blasio and Adams. Let's talk locally. Yes, I want to talk locally about my state senator that I'm running against, and you know why? Here's a guy who, Mr. State Senator, which is just disappointing with me. He's against Maimonides. He's against the Maimonides campaign to stop these animals. You know, these people who are murderers, negligent homicide. Why? Because I saw that on his campaign finance, he got $80-something thousand in campaign funds from the Maimonides group. Mm-hmm. He got about $20,000 from different board members who are his friends. So the man made $100,000. Today, by the way, his appeals lawyer charged him over $30,000 to do the brief. Right now, Mr. Felder is tinkering or on the brink of $300,000 to beat me. And yes, I did surpass the $911 today with the parking and with the lunch I had to buy Linda. So yes, I'm at the $1,000 mark, not from campaign collections or spending. It was just on personal stuff. But yeah, this guy is just crazy, and he's spending money.
But but the thing is, he has coffers, right?
He has about supposedly about $4 million.
Yeah, because what happens is this: if you're an incumbent, right, you get this. As long as you re-spend the money, you can keep the money.
Keep the money.
Right. So it carries over from his previous 15 elections.
And when he retires, he gets to keep the money.
As long as he runs for something and loses.
Right. No. I think he's allowed to retire at a certain age and get a pension as well.
So this is the problem. So, I mean, look, this is why campaign finance laws have to be changed across the board for everyone.
Right.
And two is why you need term limits.
Right. You need term limits.
You need term limits because whether it's intentional or not intentional, corruption happens as a result of...
But he switched sides of the Maimonides campaign.
At one point, he caucused with the Republicans, right?
And then also, here's my issue with the parks. First, he told us we can't open the parks. Then when he saw me opening the parks, he switches the parks. He puts cameras up all over because one of his friends who donated a lot of money to him had a child that was hit by a car. He wanted it on. But that car was done on a side street, not on Ocean Parkway, not on major highways, not on Ocean Avenue, and made for drag races at night. Now he wants the cameras on because this rich guy, his buddy of his, wants those cameras on all the time. This is Mr. Felder. And it keeps going. Do you know that Mr. Felder voted for the sex education clause, the law? He did not stop it.
Well, I'm not sure if I don't think he showed up for the vote.
He didn't show up. That's
not
me, that's worse. That's worse.
It is. We discussed this last week, right? Your job as an elected official
is to show up to be there. Job. He hasn't been in Albany for 2 years.
I agree with you. And that's the problem.
So you guys want him back in power because what? He's a nice guy, because he's a safe thing. Here's the deal for you guys. You're right. I'm crazy. You're right. I'm not. You don't think that I have a possibility of making change. So far, are you really happy with what he does? Or do you want to at least take a gamble? Worst case scenario, you vote me out in 2 years. Oh, you don't want to take a chance to make a change and rock the boat? Rocking what boat? This guy has got nothing for us. Hasn't got us real funding. He's got $5,000 funding for protection for synagogues and schools. That's it. Yeah, some of the bigger guys got $100 million in education, but none of the little schools got the money. Look at this guy's voting record. Incompetence. Look at his bills. Zero. He puts in 1 or 2 bills. He always sides with the wrong people against us. Why? Because he doesn't care about the people themselves. You know, he once called me. I'm going to keep telling you the story again. A guy got in trouble with his house. They called Mr. Felder. He's the big donor. Felder calls me up and says, well, Heshy, the guy hired you. What are you going to do? I said, Mr. Felder, call the commissioner. You can stop this in a minute. I'm going to follow the rules. Here's the procedure. The procedure that you allow them to abuse us. You know, this week they made a new rule. Not only if we're a licensed plumbing company, we now have to take a new test and prove that we work 5 years. It means I'm not allowed to have side jobs. If I don't work 40 hours for one company, I can't get my blue card. I can't do a gas test for you. That means the company cannot now turn gas on in your house. Incorrect. If I'm gas qualified and I passed the test, I should be able to work 80 hours a week for 3 different companies.
I agree with you, but I think that really all these new regulations, especially with the gas, that's affecting me also, is that there is a push to make New York carbon emissions free, right?
Right, it's stupid.
So
How do you take away
natural
natural gas for stoves?
All this, environmentalist garbage is exactly what it is. It's environmentalist garbage.
Right, but the point is they're trying to hurt people. They're making people suffer. People are out of their homes.
It's about control. It's the same thing about the Culver.
Christopher Messi called me that a guy got a fine that had nothing to do with his house. I have another guy right now where the deed was wrong and they don't care. And they're fining him $1,000. He's going to court. I say, if you go to court, you're going to lose. Let me do it for you. Last week, we worked on a guy's project for 6 months to get his house open. He did some illegal things, and we legalized everything. We fixed everything up. We said, look, here's the proposed project. Here's the existing project. We want to open up the job. Everything complies. Everything is perfect. Permits, places. The inspector calls me back. I want another permit. I want another paperwork. I did it all. They come Friday, and they make us wait and suffer. And what happened was look, everything is perfect. He says, well, there's an extra toilet bowl that doesn't comply. I said, I know, on the plan it says to take it out. He says, take it out first. I said, we can't take it out because you gave him a stop work order. I said, how do we take something out? Otherwise, you'd give us another $6,000 penalty. You gave him a $6,000 penalty already. He says, well, I'm going to let you take out the toilet bowl and I'll come back. I said, are you crazy? On the plan, it shows that's the work to take out the toilet bowl. No. See, he stopped an entire building. The guy's out of the house. It took us 3 weeks to get the inspection. So the inspector tells me, I'm going to come back in the afternoon. We called him back, 5, 6, 7. No, day's over. The chief is gone. We're going to be there Monday. Monday, they tell me, and I called, we're going to come this Friday. I said, another week just to check if we took out the toilet bowl. Did I send you pictures and your guy saw that the plumber was there taking it out? This is your city. Right. They make people suffer. They don't really care, and they're incompetent. And anyways, guys, you want to make a change? Vote me in. You don't want to make a change and be happy? I'm happy because you know what? I'm too bad I'm making money, but I'm helping people. I'm helping people on the street. I'm helping people that are hungry. I have people calling me, thanking me for my boxes. I have people from stores that I'm helping with the impossible. So, I'm happy to do good. I wish I could do more. I know I could do much, much more. Tomorrow, by the way, I'm going to a youth center called Our Place. They have a bunch of kids who are at risk, and I'm going to come there, make them happy, and hang out with them, and we're going to do a treasure hunt. What's it called again?
Scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt. Very cool, yeah.
That's fun.
And that's it. But my time is to serve. Sunday, I went to Lakewood to give a Torah. By the way, my brother and me and my nephew, we gave a Torah.
I saw the video.
Okay, and again, from there, I had to go to a shaver blockers. From there, I went to visit a stroke victim. My days are busy and full. They are full. So you're going to say, Heshy, how do you get fuller? Because I can use my time properly. I can still do what I'm doing and still work with the political, because I do an 8-hour day regular job that I fight the city. So I could do this and just quit my regular job and do this the right way. And I'm not going to work 2 hours or 5 hours. Felder comes in at 10:30. By the way, I bumped into him in a shul and I didn't say a word. My partner didn't let me. I was going to scream at him in a shul. So, but again, I'm going to put in, everybody says, well, Heshy, you keep telling us you're going to work 24/7. You can't work 24/7. You can only work 24/6. Incorrect. You're right, I might not be able to pick up the phone on Shabbos, but I can prepare doing other volunteer work, prepare other things as a state senator to get groups or youth centers or have people meet or get orphans parties and go there and speak to them. There are so many things that I could do on the weekend or prepare or make sure that things get done of the emergencies. You know, I donated a lot of money to Misaskin. It's an organization that helps with people, in their homes, bring them stuff. And Yankee Myers, my friend, passed away, who runs the organization. And today they called me again. I said, I just gave a very big donation, a loan to your organization. Yankee passed away. I'm not going to, we need more money, Heshin. If you put your name on it, we're going to get a lot of people that back it. Now, understand, my name seems not to work if the people don't vote for me. What's my name on the money? Is it my money or is it my name? And that's my point to you. I'm here for you. I know you guys keep saying, Heshy, you're pitching. I'm pitching because I really want the job. I really want to do it, and I think I could do it well. I want to talk about first of all, I want to shout out to my favorite. I never talk about sports on the team, on the game, but me and my son, Avram, and my son, Moishi, in 1998, we watched almost every Yankee game.
I'm a Met fan. I know, look,
I'm proud of you. The Mets are doing great.
The Mets are in the playoffs. I have to say this. I hate everything about the Yankees, except I'm impressed with what Aaron Judge is doing this year.
Right.
I really can't wait until he signs with the Mets and
Well, really, wow, you know what? But the Mets have done a good job. Usually the Mets
The
are.
Mets are in the playoffs, right?
I know that, and the Yankees will be in about 5 games. But you know what I'm proud about the Yankees is that my son calls me up, my married son says, "Pop, I've been following the Yankees. Remember how you got me excited about the Yankees when I was 4 or 5 years old? I'm still." And I remember when I bumped into the Yankees, I was 8 or 9, and in 77, 78, when my father passed away, the Yankees really made me feel good. So I like the Yankees. I wish New York great, that both teams get into the playoffs and both teams get into that World Series. It'll be a lot of fun. And New York maybe will come back.
Revenge this time for the last time around.
Anyways, by the way, our phone number again is 646-974-1581. And I want to do a little commercial for everybody. It's going to be our last one for the night. Don't worry about it, even though I have Barks Barbershop. Law offices of Ezra C. Levy. Again, I keep forgetting C means what?
My middle name
I know that.
Sezzy.
Sezzy, right. I like when you want to make fun of it.
You can make fun of it.
It's crazy. What the hell? Who? It's like...
I told you, I think I told you a story.
You did. But
so I'm named after my grandfather.
Sezzy.
So, look, I'm actually the only one of my cousins who uses my grandfather's actual name, Ezra, instead of some nickname.
Ezra's a beautiful name.
I'm named after my grandfather as well as two of my other cousins. But my mother didn't like the name Cesar, and I don't blame her.
Right.
And I don't know why she put Sezzy, but it's on my birth certificate, so I use the middle initial.
But I want you to know...
I already told my son when he names his kid, his first kid after me, not to give him a middle name.
So my family, we name after people like fathers or mothers or grandfathers that passed away.
Yeah. We're Safari, so we
right,
do it after
so you
living.
after living. But so I told my children I give them permission to name after the living. Yeah. They said no. So I said, you give me at least a name of grandfather. No, we're going to pick a crazy name just to upset me. I can't believe it that my new grandson is going to be called, I don't
Ezra,
know.
Right?
Not Ezra. They're going to be called...
I'm talking producer.
I don't know. They're going to call him like Biff or something crazy.
Sure they're not going to call him
Shelly, something stupid
I'm sure
name.
They are.
They're very threatening.
He's going to give him a very manly name.
Ezra C. Levy, law offices of Ezra C. Levy. Come on, put it up on the screen, producer. Specializing in all criminal matters, including weapons possession, drug offenses, domestic violence, and theft offenses, assaults, DWI, criminal and family court, order of protection defenses, 917-755-1187. Ezra, what's your number?
917-755-1187.
I see you were paying attention
yes,
to the show.
I do pay. You could email me at EzraLevyLawFirm@gmail.com. You could
say it. You got to spell it.
EzraLevyLawFirm@gmail.com.
Ezra is very good, guys. Use him. I love him. He's wonderful. And again, I like him so much. I want to talk about a problem that came up in your thing. Now, I've been trying, I have, and you guys might get upset with me, but I don't care. There was an incident last week with a transgender female, male.
Okay, so let's this is where it gets
Before you
personal.
make any comments,
I'm going to get very personal.
I want to just get in. I don't care you want to get personal, but I did reach out to this person. She applied for a job. She's identifying herself as a woman.
Let's identify with the truth. That's what I want to start this conversation with. I'm sorry to cut you off. This is the problem. We are
but the law, you are a lawyer.
Yes, and
and you said the law is the law.
No,
so according to the law, she's a woman. Wait, and it gets a step better. She was hired. You cannot fire somebody that was hired, and she didn't run to be a teacher of sex education. She's a social studies teacher. So now she's qualified. You hired her. She passed the test. You're firing her because why exactly?
All right, so let's be very
Now, don't
clear.
get me wrong. I've never said I'm picking her side because
okay.
I did reach out to Tali Avrami, and I did ask her to come on the show to explain and talk about stuff.
And if Tali came on the show, I would say the same thing to Tali's face as I'm saying to you now.
I would like to hear
So
it.
I want to be very clear about this. And this is not against anyone. It's not against. It's against what they do. Okay, so let's be very clear. The school, I'm not going to mention the yeshiva's name. It's very personal. I'm an alumni of that yeshiva.
Mug and David, I'm going to announce it.
Okay, fine. It's the main Sephardic modern Orthodox school in the community. All right, so now, you have to understand something. Tali posed as a religious Jew.
A religious woman.
As a religious woman.
And she's religious, she says.
Well, I question how he is religious and he's living the lifestyle he's living, which is very clearly...
But she's only breaking one law.
It's only a Yisur Secular, okay?
What does it mean? Which means?
Which means it's punishable by death if there's a bit if there's
If there was a temple.
Okay,
correct.
so it's also considered an abomination by the Torah. And and Yom Kippur's in about 2.5 weeks. During Mechav Yom Kippur, we read about that same abomination.
By the way, I want to wish everybody on this, Sunday is the holiday.
Sunday night is...
So I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I want you to have a healthy new year and be prosperous. So I want everybody to enjoy, especially you, Ezra.
Thank you. You and your family, and to my good friend here, our producer.
We're going to have Moshabi, a baby on the holiday, on the new year.
So let's go back. I mean, again, this is not personal against anyone. It just... You have to understand.
So you're saying she misrepresented herself.
Magen David Yeshiva, they hired a teacher. Magen David is a religious organization who is allowed to promote their religious beliefs, and they're allowed to discriminate legally based on the religious
Not
beliefs.
anymore, according to the new laws.
Under Title IX, religious organizations are allowed to keep their religious beliefs. The Supreme Court of the United States has ruled on this already. You see, everybody's getting confused because last week the Supreme Court of the United States kicked back the YU case.
Right.
Because that's just on a procedural issue. It was too premature to get to the Supreme Court. But under Title IX, a religious organization is allowed to discriminate.
So what do you mean they kicked back that case?
So what happened is this. And YU made the same claim. They're a religious organization. They did not want to have an LGBTQ RSTUV club. Right, saying it violates the religious dictates of Judaism. Problem is, YU is not registered in New York State as a religious institution.
Wow.
Okay, that's probably because they wanted to get some federal loan benefits and stuff like that, so they didn't want to religion. So based on that, the New York State court ruled against YU. YU's appealed that directly to the Supreme Court of the United States and sought an injunction. The injunction was originally given, and then when the court considered the case, it said it's too premature. You still have to, before you can get the injunction, you have to actually fully litigate it in the state courts, which hasn't been done yet. But if it gets to the Supreme Court on the merits, YU is probably going to win.
So basically, like my appeal, so they have to go by the letter of the law. So then in your case, the way you're telling me, since my letter of the law is very careful on service, I should win theoretically.
Yes, theoretically.
Theoretically.
Right. So let's go back to what happened. Again, Tali was hired as a social studies teacher, which you want to say it's not. Tali's not teaching Judaism
or sex education or whatever.
There's no sex education in yeshivot.
Well, now we have to. Now we have
not
to.
in the lowest levels, and that's we really don't know exactly what the parameters are yet. But that's not. Tali was hired to teach social studies. Okay. Tali posed as a woman, even though Tali is a biological man, is a man. Okay.
How do you know he's still a man?
You're born a man, you're a man. Okay?
Transgender means you change your gender, no?
Again, truth doesn't. You don't
My
have
question
a right
is,
to change the truth.
when you do just let's ask a question.
If you want to do an operation,
you did the operation. Let's just say you did. You're still a man.
You're still a biological. You're a man when you're born. It's the same way you.
But you changed your gender.
Good for you.
So now you're a woman.
You play God.
No.
You want to play God, and I'm going to change. I'm going to change the fact. This is the problem we have in today's society. This is the problem with today's society. You could have whatever ideas you want, but your ideas do not change the truth. The truth is, we are born male or female at birth. There's no this idea of gender being different than your sex given at birth is a joke. It's Orwellian.
You want to act like a woman, but the gender is still a male.
So right, you're a gay man.
Right. So how come they're now allowing us to write X on our birth certificates?
Because we have been brainwashed and corrupted by the society. Yeah. And this is the problem.
Just like COVID. We're finding out now that half of these people that are dying from COVID, of these, even though you and I took the vaccine. You didn't take it? Our lives could have been in danger. I see it now. And they forced us to do it. They actually forced me. Not that I was forced. I didn't have to.
Because you were running and you wanted to be able
I wanted to be a politician. I wanted to get benefits. So on. You're right. The point is most of the country did that. And look what they're doing in China. Yeah. They're forcing billions of people. And they're actually, how do these few people are able to push us around? We're just dumbbells. Right.
So that's the point. So this whole thing, honestly, all this garbage of brainwashing started way back in the 80s when I was a child. The political correctness movement. You cannot change the facts. You can't change reality. So now, what bothers me, and I'm going to say this right now, What bothers me from the school, as a parent, and my kids do not go to that school. I'm going to be very clear. Do not go to that yeshiva, okay? But I have friends who teach in there. My Rav is a Rebbe in that yeshiva, so it's personal. I graduated that school in 1990. Myself in 1987. So I have very fond memories of Mac David. The problem is this: we've had enough reason to worry about who's educating our children.
Okay, so now I got.
So why don't we do a full background check?
I got your theological way of thinking.
It's not theory. It's not
Whatever,
theological. It's
whatever
it's
you
logical.
think. Okay, fine. Now talk legally to me.
So
She was hired and given a contract.
Okay, so in New York, it's a very good question. So let me be very clear. In New York, everyone's considered an at-will employee, which means I can fire you for any reason I want.
What reason did you have?
As long
She
as
didn't even start working.
as long as it's non-discriminatory.
In this case, it was discriminatory.
100% was discriminatory. But the thing is, it's discriminatory based on a religious perspective, a tenet, not just a belief, a religious tenet that's well known, of which the employee was aware of before the employee applied for the job, which the yeshiva has a right to implement and has actually a duty to do it because it's holding itself as a
You know, if
religious
I have a gay client, a gay person applying for one of my apartments, and I don't take them in,
you could be sued.
So in this
But that's
case,
because you're not a religious
she's applying
institution.
for a job that she's fully qualified.
No, but again, Tali applied. I'm not going to say
and she was the most qualified
say-
person. She won.
No.
She won out this job
don't
over
know.
many
We don't know.
applicants.
First of all, it's not necessarily that Tali was the most qualified. It doesn't really matter. Okay, Tali applied for a job under false pretenses.
I got that.
Okay, Tali went into Tali, being an Orthodox Jew, knows what authentic Orthodox Judaism feels about that lifestyle.
So now what?
So Tali should never have applied for the job. B should never have been hired. And I have a big problem. I don't understand how Tali was hired in the first place, because I don't understand how any educational institution, whether it's a yeshiva, whether it's a Catholic school, whether it's a public school, today, given how much we know, how much we can find out so much information so easily, how is it that anybody's hired without a full background check?
I know, especially with
and
children.
you're dealing with my child, exactly. And that's, I had this conversation. My wife is an educator.
How
Okay.
do you hire somebody
I go
without
there, I go,
doing a
how
back?
on earth did
You
you
know,
get a
even
job
if
like
you
that?
accept they're gay or
Yeah,
they're.
whatever it is, I want to know who you are before I let you near my child.
So this was showing that
So that's
the school is stupid.
As I said, again, and Mac, I want to be very clear. Mac and David Yeshiva is not the only school that doesn't do a full background check.
you.
I think I'm not even sure
I
if a
know.
single school yeshiva does
I
it.
have a few other
But
schools
it's
that we have
about
issues with.
It's about time that we start doing full background
But I
checks.
want to stay on the legal portion of it. So now we gave her a 1-year contract.
Again, so as an at-will employee in New York State, your contract means absolutely nothing.
But they didn't want a big thing, so they went and they paid her.
I'm sure Tali got paid.
Okay, she got paid her 1-year salary and she left. My question to you is any normal person would say, look, I was given a 1-year contract with the idea that I gave up my life to come here, not only to teach a year, but to show you that I could do well, that you continue hiring. I planned on spending my career here.
So again,
now you're taking away my career and you're making me look bad that I can't teach anywhere else.
Fine. So you want to
Shouldn't I
say
sue you for $10 million for,
I'm
what's
sure
it called again?
Defamation of character.
Defamation of
Let's
character.
be very clear. Defamation of character is the one defense to defamation of character is truth. So it's true that Tali is a biological male who deceived Tali's employer, Megan David Yeshiva.
She believes she's a woman.
Again, a biological male who would never have given, if Tali
Was it
honest,
on the
if
application?
Tali was honest,
Was it on the
I don't
application?
know. I'm sure it was. It was male, female.
Oh, come on. Nobody asks, are you a male or female on an application?
I want to tell you something, Heshy. When I was at
On a
legal,
passport, I got
Heshy,
you.
when I was at Legal Aid Society, I applied for a transfer to a different unit. I was automatically given, generated by an email, okay, a full questionnaire with 8 choices for gender.
Wow.
Okay, I did not choose it. I did
Not
not
gender,
fill it.
race.
No, gender.
Gender?
Gender. This was, okay. So today there's probably 55 genders. So what I have to explain to you is the world is screwed up.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we send our kids to yeshivot to shelter them from the screwed up world.
Yeah.
Right? So now Tali, who has these screwed up beliefs and is trying to justify Tali's own beliefs by imposing it on others, doesn't work.
Right.
So yes, does Maggie David discriminate? 100%. Is Maggie David going to get sued? If I was a betting man, I say good chance.
Well,
of
not
getting
if
sued.
not if they
I'm
paid her out and
sure-
she signed an agreement.
Well, I
They
mean,
can't
if,
sue
we
anymore.
don't know if they did or not. And if they did,
To what I
if
understand,
they did,
people,
if she lied, Tali lied once, he lied once. So you get me to
Right.
say she. Okay,
Right.
he lied once. He might lie again. He might renege and say, "Look, I'm staying to make more money. Here's your money back. Let's go litigate it."
wow, you can do that
If
once you signed
I
an
wanna ask you a
agreement.
question. I signed an NDA with you, right?
Right.
Non-disclosure, which I'm
Non-disclosure.
sure Maggie and David made Tali sign before.
Right.
Okay. You know what? I decided, it's worth the risk of me paying you back, and now let's go fully sue.
But paying you back doesn't work. Once you sign the agreement,
Usually, right?
their compensation is just
But
a
don't
compensation.
you
It
stand
doesn't.
to make-
It's the NDA that's most
Don't you
important.
stand to make so much more?
I understand, but
Doesn't
once you
Tali
signed
stand
an
to make
agreement,
much more? Tali now has
when you
become-
go
Tali
before,
now has became a
if
court
you go
celeb
before
for
the
these
judge,
people.
if you go before the judge,
So go throw your
and the
kids.
judge is gonna say, look, you signed the agreement. There's nothing you could do to come back. Oh, you gave back the money. It doesn't work
No,
like that.
Exactly. Fine.
You're not even entitled to money. The
Fine.
money is just
But the
an
thing is-
additional.
Now Tali becomes a court celeb,
Yeah.
right? You say that. Look, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to start. I doubt that the motivation was purely just to get a job. Okay, nobody's that naive. You go to. I'll tell you something. Okay, nobody's naive that you think you're going to be able to pull this off for a whole year, pull a whole charade with no consequence. For a
Well,
whole year.
look,
You go in there-
did you see the way she looks and the
Yes, and
pictures
after
and the
with
wedding pictures and everything like that?
Yes, again, he is a homosexual male who looks like a woman when
And the
dressed like a
family
woman.
unit looks real good.
I feel sorry for that child that they have together.
Again, the government allowed them to adopt the child.
Again, not everything the government does is right. I think you're the first one who admit that.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So I have very strong views about
I
this.
would really love to hear Tali's opinion. I'd like to hear
and
her
as I said,
thinking.
I would say the same thing. I want to be very clear because I don't want our listening audience to think that there's any cowardice involved. I've already dealt with this in my professional life. I've dealt with this in my personal life. I'm not a fan of the. I'm not a. Let's play this. Say, the LGBTQ community does not like me. Okay, for good reason. I'm not a fan of theirs. I'm not. I don't discriminate against them. I treat them
Right,
like human
right.
beings. But the thing is, I call it as it is. Okay, it's a lifestyle that from our religion.
From a religious
From a
standpoint,
religious
the
standpoint,
lifestyle
it's
is no
it's
good.
no good. And from just a human perspective, okay, keep religion aside. You don't get to create your own facts. You get to create your own reality.
Right.
Reality is reality. Okay. When I was in the delivery room when both of my biological children were born. Okay. The first, when my son was born, the doctor said it's a boy. Right.
Yeah.
My son will always be my son.
Correct.
Right. When my daughter was born, it's a girl.
Right.
My daughter will always be a girl.
I agree
And,
with
it's
you.
like,
My
no
three
matter
sons,
no
I
matter
know,
how they
I
want
know,
to talk
I
about
know.
it, it's the same thing.
They keep asking me, one guy keeps asking me, he says, well, Heshy, what happens if one of your kids come home and says he's gay? I said, the only thing I'm asking is just make sure he brings home a Jewish boy.
I'm not going to get there.
That's a bad
it's a
joke.
nightmare
I
for
got
me.
it.
It is a nightmare. I'll say it.
I'm 2 for 2 with marriages, and I have one more to go, and it seems like that he's heterosexual all the way.
It's good. Mazel
Yeah,
tov.
I'm doing
No,
good.
but I'm saying, I think that I think the issue really is that these lifestyles have.
But how come
infiltrated
I
our-
don't hear from forget your Syrian community, every community? Why
is it quiet?
why are they quiet?
Because so you mentioned. I'm going to say this about the Syrian community. We're very insular. We keep our problems to ourselves.
Problems yourselves. You don't accomplish anything
No, that's
by
not true.
allowing them to stay there.
No, that's not true.
And just
They
buying
we
them
got
out,
around.
you're lucky that she accepted the buyout. Otherwise, you would be dead.
No.
This would have gone papers, national.
It's still going to.
It's not
It's
going
going
to.
to.
It's pretty much, it
But
stopped,
the thing
thank
is,
goodness.
The thing is, this look.
And the only reason why I think it stopped is because Tali believes that she's a Jewish religious woman and didn't want to make a ruckus and embarrass the community. That's
Again,
what I
I'm
was
not,
told.
Look, I don't know what Tali's motivations are. I could never read a person's motivations. I'm not even gonna speculate. Okay, I'm not gonna speculate. They say it was a mutual decision, the amicable part in the ways. Let's hope so. Okay, both of them, both sides. God bless you. Do well, Tali. I pray that you do teshuvah. Okay, but at the same time, let's live an honest lifestyle. You want to pose as a woman. Tell the world you're posing as a woman.
I want to do one last commercial for the show, and it is my friend. We're going to put on James Meadows. I have to find it for myself if the guy does it. And it's James Meadows. He is attorney for, let me find it, I have it right here. Offices of James Meadows, 914-398-8424 or 917-477-4749. It's on your screen. Or it could be 845-TICKETS, TICKETS. James Meadows, a traffic ticket lawyer, a former criminal lawyer. He's just really a professional lawyer. I recommended him now to 2 more people. He just dismissed their cases. Very wonderful. Call the offices of James Meadows. His website is www.ny- or what is it called?
Backslash.
What?
Underscore?
Not underscore, straight score. What is that?
I don't know. Dash.
Oh, no, dash.
Yeah, underscore.
www.ny-defense.com, defense.com. His phone number again is 917-856-1247, or his offices is 914-398-8424, or you can call him 845-TICKETS, TICKETS. It's a pretty good number. And he's just a wonderful lawyer that keeps winning them, knows the codes, knows the laws, and knows most likely when you get a ticket, you're going to lose with the cops. So he finds a way and gets it done for you. The offices of James Meadows, again, 845-TICKETS. We got to talk a little bit about Trump one more time before we go. You're telling me that he could be indicted.
Yeah, well, look, So
if he's found guilty before he becomes president, which can't be because these trials take forever, so he then he can pardon himself or not pardon himself, whatever it is. But if he gets found guilty as president, he automatically loses his presidency.
No.
Well.
No.
Automatically, I hear if you don't, just like in city council, if you're found guilty of something,
it's different. The president could only be removed by impeachment. So even if he's found guilty
of a crime
while sitting as president, he could only be once in office. He could only be removed by impeachment. It's the same thing as a congressman or a senator. They could only they can't. We've had congressmen who have been convicted of crimes, right, while they're sitting. Usually they do the right thing by resigning because they're going to prison 9 out of 10 times. So they can't.
So
serve.
if you go to prison,
you can't serve. You can't be president at the same time, could you?
So if he gets found guilty as president,
and he's sentenced to jail, then his presidency will effectively be suspended because he can't do both at the same time.
So the judge will say, "Finish your presidency."
No, this is the whole thing.
He can't be president from prison.
I don't think you could.
Why?
Because as a prisoner, there's restrictions on your freedom, and there's people listening to every conversation you're having. So I mean,
so then automatically they'll. But then his own administration would then impose the 25th Amendment.
Well, I think at that point, effectively, he'd have to resign because if not, he'll be impeached.
They would impeach him, even his own party. They went after him.
They would have to.
But it's malicious.
Unless I think, let's just say this. It's again. I don't know. Donald Trump has not announced that he's running yet, even though it looks like he is. Right. He hasn't been indicted yet, even though it looks like he might be indicted because Merrick Garland is going to try to do it. And it's very easy, to get an indictment, by the way.
And Merrick Garland was chosen by Trump.
No, by Biden. Merrick Garland is the Attorney General of the United States of America.
Right, but who did Biden choose Trump choose that still there?
So the federal judge.
The FBI guy.
Christopher Wray, yes, the FBI guy.
And he's also against Trump now.
They all were. I mean, look, Donald Trump, when he promoted Wray, he took somebody who was already in the inner chambers, right, of the higher ups of the FBI, who we all know were corrupt from the very beginning. It's been shown that they were all anti-Trump.
If I was president, I'd fire them across the board and just bring in a whole new.
He fired Coleman. He had to take somebody.
He fired one. He should have fired the whole group, the whole mess, and 100%. Pick a new guy like a normal thing.
You're right, except that he was ready. By firing Coleman, he already opened up himself to a problem because everybody said it was because
makes no difference. He's president, whatever the reason is.
You do serve at.
Remember, like you said, you were just going to say you serve at the pleasure of the president.
But I want to go back.
And these guys didn't do it.
I want to go back to what you said at the beginning of the show, right? The courts have to follow the law, right?
Right.
Do they always follow the law? I'm not going to say they do. So now, you serve at the pleasure of the president until there's another politician who says you serve at the president serves at the pleasure of what we say is okay to do.
Right.
So, and that's exactly what happened throughout the whole Trump administration. So understanding all that, I mean, look, I personally think he's going to get indicted. I don't know if he'll get convicted. There's a very big difference between indictment and conviction.
So if his party gets into power, they're not going to. Even though we have double crosses that jump party lines just to make themselves famous or to get some extra move up in the ranks, so they knew like these 9 politicians that just voted for this stupid congressional election thing, they lost. They're Republicans. They have to vote with the Republicans.
Some of them already are on their way out, right?
They are. They were either lost the election.
Right.
All 9 of them that chose the Democratic side are on their way out or lost their primaries. Don't you see what is it? Vindictiveness in their actions.
So let's be very clear about it. First of all, just because you belong to a political party doesn't mean that you're expected to vote down the line Republican.
I'm not asking you to vote, but if it's common sense stuff, you vote down the line. If it's something stupid, you don't vote.
I want to be clear about this, okay? Because, for example, there was an infrastructure bill, right, that passed.
Right.
It's a very big bill for American spending. But Nicole Maliotakis, who happens to be a Republican who represents Southern Brooklyn and Staten Island, right, and hopefully get reelected, she voted for the bill because it served her constituents' needs.
Yeah, but that bill was a good bill
for New York City, not for the rest of the country. So
I don't know.
If you ask most of
the Republicans didn't
voted
vote for
against
that
it.
Really
voted against it. Fiscally conservative Republicans voted against it. When you're in a recession, they say you don't have no business spending more money, which makes a lot of sense to me, right?
Yeah.
Fine, but the thing is, Nicole Maliotakis represented her district's needs, which is what she's expected to do as a congresswoman, as a representative of that district. So, being Joe Manchin, for example, is a Democrat senator from
a normal Democrat senator.
Is a Democrat senator.
He'll vote Democrat, but if it's stupid, he won't vote for it.
From a very conservative state.
Right.
Right. So even though he's a Democrat, most of his constituents hold Republican viewpoints, even if they're not Republicans. So many times you see Joe Manchin crossing party lines to do what's right in his mind, in his constituents' minds. So
it's not right in their mind. It's right for what the constituents need.
Sometimes
I don't agree.
Actually, that's what it should
I don't agree with the constituents, but I still vote for it. You know what I mean?
Right, that's how it should be. Right. But the thing is,
a lot of people during COVID said, "Oh, Heshy, you're crazy opening the parks. It's scary. Oh, we're going to die." I said, "What are you talking about? You're wrong." And then a lot of people said, "Please open the parks." A lot of people said, "Thank you for entertaining me with videos that kept my brain going." But a lot of people said that, and that's what we're supposed to do.
Exactly. So I mean, look again. It's the question is, does an elected official are they employees of their constituents or are constituents their serfs? Right, because the truth is, most politicians look at you as not the person who put me in charge, but the person I'm in charge of. And right. But in a democracy or a representative form of government that we have, there's something called an election because you know what? I get to put you in job. I get to give you the job. I hire you. You work for me, right?
Our show's coming to an end. I want to ask you one last question. You know the Queen died in England.
Yes.
Now we have a king over there.
Oh, okay.
I remember throughout
this is America.
But I remember throughout the years, people how they spoke bad about the Queen. The Queen does crazy things, blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Our family were a bunch
All of a sudden,
degenerates.
doesn't make a difference.
Our family were a bunch of degenerates.
But she died now, and now wow, look at her. We love her. Millions and millions and.
What she did was stabilize. She brought stability to the region just by her presence. She was a very elegant head of state. She had that British, manners and,
But she was too strict, I guess. Towards the end, that's why her kids went crazy.
No, she needed to be strict because her kids are crazy.
Right. Okay. Do you think that Charles, now that he's king, will be better? He's an older guy. Will he do the...
Look, it really...
It looks like everybody lives long in that family. 99, her
mother
mother lived till 100, she lived till 96.
So, it looks like he has good genes, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I don't know, because really in England, it's really a ceremonial position. They get a lot of property, they have a lot of money, right? That's really... And they don't pay taxes. Billions.
They're worth billions.
And they don't pay taxes. But other than that, they really don't do much.
Now, Putin, I'm going to close up the show, but Putin, with the war with Ukraine, now he's threatening nukes. But do you know that 6 of his oligarchs have died in the last few months?
Only?
One by a stroke.
Only?
But I'm just saying, his buddies. One by a stroke, like 40 years old.
Stroke of bad luck.
Another one fell off his boat and drowned. How do you fall off a yacht and drown with all those people? The best part is, this is the best one. Forget the heart attack and all that. Some guy by mistake fell out a window.
My mistake.
I have to hear. How do you fall out a window
Heshy,
and die?
Heshy, if you're gonna buy that, I have a purchase.
I know that.
Okay, anyways.
But he's going after. He's going after all the money. It looks like he's going for the money.
He's taking the money because he's gonna have to run.
He's going to run.
He has to run out of that country and leave.
Really, Putin, with the power that he has. And
What power he's got? The only thing protecting his power was the idea that he has as a military, right?
But people are not fighting back yet. They're not protesting.
They're going to.
Yeah, we'll see.
They're going to. They're about to lose this war.
Anyways, everybody, thank you for watching my show. We'll be back next week. Happy New Year.